E, and welcome back to E's Horror Lounge. This came out late. I'm planning on this coming out on Monday, because I missed Wednesday of last week. There was a big thing, but I just ultimately wanted this episode out before this Wednesday, or the Wednesday of the week that this one comes out, if that makes any sense. My throat isn't really feeling the best, but, I'll just kind of try to rise above. But yeah, welcome back to E's Horror Lounge. Hopefully this isn't your first episode. Hopefully if it is your first episode, you guys go back and listen to the other ones. Yeah, I hope you guys are having a good day. I know I've been having some, relatively good days. It's been the weekend. School came back, and that really, that hit me hard. But yeah, it's, it's been decent. School is going it's going. But, anyways, if you guys are I hope you guys are having a good day. If you guys aren't having a good day, hopefully I could entertain you guys for a little while, possibly get your mind off of whatever is annoying you. Thank you guys for listening to this episode in the first place. I do make these for you guys, and I really hope that you guys enjoy them, and I spend time doing these and researching and, doing all this mess, and I love to hear whenever someone says that they listen to my podcast, and, it really just means a lot. If you guys haven't, please follow me on Instagram. The Instagram is kind of just a easy platform for me to kind of talk with you guys, kind of, just kind of communicate without going through weekly podcasts. I post a lot on there. It is at E's Horror Lounge, or official Ethan EHL. And yeah, without, aside from all that, let's just go into what I'm talking about. I assume that the people that listen to this podcast have watched, a lot of horror movies. And, that's just kind of due to this being a horror podcast, and, I just assume that you guys enjoy horror in all varieties. So anyways, I assume that you guys watch a lot of horror movies, and if you watch a lot of horror movies, you've probably stumbled across The Exorcism of Emily Rose. It was made in 2005. Is this whole story about some crazy exorcism, but the thing is that although there was no real Emily Rose, the story of the Exorcism of Emily Rose was based off of the story of Annalise Michel. And with that, I'm going to be talking about her today. Annalise Michel, or Anna Elizabeth Michel, was she was she was just a German lady. Really, it was, I believe this is 50s, 52, and, yeah, she got, what do you call it? She had to have exorcisms done on her, and, like I said, this is really what was, the Exorcism of Emily Rose was based off of, and, later on in this, I'm going to be playing, some audio from the exorcisms that they had. That's really, really bad audio, but then again, this was 70s, so yeah. But Anna, she was born in Germany, or Bavaria, if to be more exact. She's born in September 21st, 1952. She died July 1st, 1976, aged 23, due to malnutrition and starvation. Uh, and yeah, so basically, uh, whenever she was young, she was diagnosed with temporal lobe epilepsy, which is the most common form of epilepsy. Uh, and I'm just gonna kind of jump right in here. Uh, this is kind of like, it's just, I don't know. I find this kind of interesting, the way that they used to deal with these types of things. You see someone that has epilepsy now, you just think, okay, it's like they used to think that these people were, demonically possessed. I don't know. I find that kind of crazy, that like kind of like how it's gone on. Like they used to treat these people as if they were like monsters, but they were actually just people that had really like a bad mental state. Sorry, there's gonna be a lot of long pauses. I'm drinking a lot of water right now. My throat is not feeling the best. So also, if my voice sounds a little bit off, sorry about that. Uh, but yeah, she was diagnosed with temporal lobe epilepsy and she had a lot of psychiatric treatment that did not really do much for her. Whenever she was 16, she had a seizure and was diagnosed with temporal lobe epilepsy. She was then diagnosed with depression, and then she was put into a psychiatric hospital. She later on, after she got out of the hospital, started to say that she started to hear voices, and she ultimately just became worse. She became, like the medication just did nothing for her. Her family then believed that she was possessed by a demon. And after that, I believe this was a 75, she got, or her family got priests to perform an exorcism on her. And with this exorcism, she was not allowed to eat, which she ended up being malnourished. After she ended up, after the exorcisms, which were overall just abusive, she ended up dying of malnourishment and dehydration, and everyone that was involved in the exorcisms, her family and the priests were all they were all sentenced to 6 months in jail due to negligent homicide. And yeah. So that's just a little bit of a background on her. She, whenever, I'm gonna go back a little bit, and I'm gonna go to as soon as they really decided she should get an exorcism. The priest stated that he knew that she was possessed, and that the doctors have been lying, and that she was not epileptic, and she did not have depression, and that it was all just Satan. especially with someone in Michelle's case, that's just not okay. She is mentally ill, and you're telling a mentally ill person that they are demonically possessed. The person is gonna start acting demonically possessed, and that's what she did. She started showing a lot of dislike for religious imagery, and thus the exorcism was on. And during the exorcism, they during the exorcism, Annalise started talking a lot about death, and she started. This is a quote from her. She started talking about dying to atone for the wayward youth of the day and the apostate priests of the modern church. So, yeah, I feel like hearing that it's. I feel like it was really just all mind games. You tell her that she's demonically possessed, she's gonna start acting demonically possessed. And ultimately, I think that's what this primarily was. But 67 sessions of exorcisms were. 67 exorcisms were performed over over 10 months of 1975 and 1976. Two each week, lasting up to 4 hours. And this ultimately ended up leading to her death. I'll add in a little a clip of the exorcism. I'm gonna add in a little bit of audio from that. So I'll start talking to you guys after that.
Der Bischof von Würzburg will das auch wissen.
Der braucht
Im Namen des Vaters und des Sohnes und des Heiligen Geistes. Amen.
Es gibt noch mehr von der Sorte wie die Rotznase. Noch mehr?
Zum Beispiel, wo sind sie?
Überall.
So yeah. That's creepy as hell. But after that, on July 1st of 1976, Michelle died in her home. They then discovered that it was due to malnutrition, dehydration, and by being in a semi-starvational state for almost a year while the exorcisms were performed. During this time, she weighed 68 pounds, broken knees, and she was unable to move without assistance. And she was also contracted pneumonia during all of this, and that really just shows how they really like handled things like this. Like temporal lobe epilepsy is the most common type of epilepsy. I know people that have temporal lobe epilepsy, and like this family believed that she had a demon in her. Especially, like, I don't know, like